Hello learners, my name is Simran from Team CloudEML and I welcome you all to our YouTube channel. Today in this video we are going to see a Python interview question that was asked by the company Tiger Analytics. So let's begin by first reading the question. So, given an array nums with n objects colored red, white or blue, sort them in place so that objects of the same color are adjacent, with the colors in the order red, white and blue. We will use the integers 0, 1 and 2 to represent the colors red, white and blue respectively. But you must solve this problem without using the library's sort function. Okay, so this is a very tricky question, but if you apply proper logic to this, then it is not that tricky. So you have been given an array of which has the name nums, and it has certain objects in it which represent the color 0, 1 and 2, which means red, white or blue. And you need to sort these objects in such a way that the objects having the same color are adjacent, and that too in the same order red, white and blue. Let's understand this with an example. See, this is the input nums which is 2, 0, 2, 1, 1, 0. So here 2 means blue, here 0 means red and 1 means white. And this has been sorted in such a way 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, so which means that the colors are sorted in red, white and blue. Yes, red, white and blue, it has to follow the same order while sorting. Okay, so this is the question. Now, first let's discuss the logic of solving this question. Let's write down the sample input first. The sample input is nums, which is a list, and the values are 2, 0, 2, 1, 1, 0. So we need to perform this problem, we need to solve this problem without using the sort function. Okay, if we had used sort function, then this was the easiest problem of the world. But yes, they have applied this trick in this question that you need not use the sort function. So how do we solve this question? So what we can do is, we will be using three variables for this code, which are P0, the current value and P2. So here P0 will denote the left side values or the left side pointers, okay, which will be beginning from 0. Left side pointers that will begin from 0, which means here the 0th index. P2 will be the right side pointer and it will begin from last index, which means length of nums minus 1, correct? And this will begin from the right side. And the current value will be nothing but simply the current value of the list. Okay, the current value that we are working on. So what we can do is, when we start with the current value, we will check whether the current value is equal to 2 or 0 or 1. If the current value is equal to 2, then we can swap it with the left hand side values. Why? Because our output should be of the form 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. Correct? So that is why whenever the values are 0, we will swap it to the right side. Whenever the values are 2, for 0 we will swap to the left, which means to P0, and whenever it is a value 2, then it will be swapped to the right side, which means with the variable P2. Okay, and whenever the value is 1, it will be nothing will be performed, no swapping will be performed, but simply the current value should be incremented. Okay, because nothing will be done, only the swapping will take place for 0 and 2. All the other 1 values will automatically come at the center. That is why only the current pointer will be incremented, nothing else will happen. Okay, so this is the logic behind this function. So without using the sort function, we can solve this sorting question by using this approach, where we will use three variables, P0, P2 and current. P0 is for the left pointers, P2 is for the right pointers, and current is the current value. Okay, now let's code this question. So what we'll be doing is, we will be simply first creating a function, which is the sort colors function, which will accept the nums list as the input. Now let's create the P0 variable and the current variable. Okay, because our current pointer will be at 0th index. Okay, we will begin iteration. Okay, we are iterating, correct? So the iteration will begin from the 0th index of the list. That is why P0 and current, both the values are present at 0. Next, P2 will be the last value, as I already mentioned over here. See here, P2 is the last value, length of nums minus 1. Okay, length of nums minus 1. Okay, this is the P2 value. Now let's begin with the iteration. We are not going to use the for loop for the iteration. We will be using the while loop. Okay, because we have to perform the iteration until we cover all the elements of the list. Okay, so why we are not using for loop in this case is, why? Because whenever we use for loop, we simply iterate through the length. Okay, for loop we iterate through the length. Okay, and we consider the index, correct? But in our case, we are swapping the values. So whenever we swap the values, the values at a particular index will change, correct? So that is why we cannot use the for loop over here, because the values will be changing whenever we swap the length or we swap the indexes, correct? So it may produce a problem when we perform the further iterations. So that is why we are going to use the while loop in this case. When in the while loop, we will be just checking the current number is lesser than the total length or not. Okay, this will be the only thing that we are checking. That is why we are going to use the while loop. We'll be only checking whether the current number is less than the length of the list or not. Okay, when the current number will become greater than the length, the loop will break. So while current is less than equal to P2, so P2, then first we will perform this. Now we will perform the if condition for the number 0. So if the current value is equal to 0, then I already mentioned that whenever the value will be equal to 0, then it will be swapped with the P0 index, okay, with the left hand side. So what we will do for swapping, see, we will swap the numbers P0 and so this will be nums. Equal to nums of P0, comma nums current. Okay, so what we are doing is simply swapping the values. The value of, so here it will be current and here it will be P0. What we are doing, simply the value of current, okay, the value of current will be stored in P0 and the value of P0 will be stored in current. Okay, that is the only thing we are performing, which means we are swapping the values. And after swapping, we will be incrementing the current and the P0 value because we are performing a loop, correct? So that is why we will be incrementing both the values. Next, we will be doing it for the number 2. If the current number is 2, then what we have to do, I have mentioned here that we will be swapping the value with P2 index, correct? So the steps will be performed the same. Okay, but what will happen here, instead of P0 we will be having current, and here instead of current we are having P2. Here current P2 and P0 will be replaced with current. Okay, so this is the swapping that is taking place between current and P2. Now, after swapping the current number with P2, we will simply decrement P2. Why here we are incrementing P0 and we are decrementing P2? Because, see, P0 is present on the left side, correct? And we have already swapped one value here. See, P0 is present on the left, P2 is present on the right. Okay? Whenever we swap a certain value with P0, it should move ahead to the next index. Okay, why? Because we don't want to swap this index again. Okay, if we swap that index again, then there is no use of swapping at the first place. Correct? So that is why we will increment P0, and why we decrement P2? P2 is present on the extreme right. Okay, and when we swap a certain value with P2, we will decrement it with -1. Okay, so that its index decreases. Okay, and then whatever number will be swapped, it will be swapped one position before P2. Okay, so that is why we decrement P2 and increment P0, because they are present on left and right side respectively. Now next, our next condition will be the final, that if the value is 1, then what we have to do, we will simply increment the current value. No operation will be performed. Okay, this is our function, and we will finally return the nums, the list nums. Run this and then apply this function that we just created, sort colors, and let's pass our input, our list, which is 202110. Run this and check the output. Okay, so you see we have got a sorted list 001122. Let's implement this function as well. Okay, let's implement this code. Okay, so first start with writing down the nums. Our nums list 110. Okay, our first step was to initialize the three variables P0, current and P2. So the value of P0 has been initialized as 0, current is also 0, P2 is length -1. Here the length is 6 minus 1, 5. Okay, after initializing the values, what we have to do, the while loop begins. Okay, here the while loop is current value should be less than or equal to P2. While current value is less than or equal to P2. So the first value of current, the initial value of current is 0. So this is equal to or less than 5. Okay, because current is less than 5, 0 is less than 5. So we will check whether the current number is 0, 2 or 1. Let's check it. So current is 0. Check nums of 0. Nums of 0 is 2. Correct? Here nums of 0 is 2. So what action it will perform? This action, it will swap the current value with the P2 value. Okay. So what will be the new list? Current value is 0th index, correct? And the fifth value, the P2 value is 0. So it will swap both these values. 2 will go last. Okay, it will go in the position of 0. See, this 2 and this 0 will get swapped. Okay, next, after swapping, what it has done, it decrements the P2 value. So what will be the P2 value? Here P2 was 5, so P2 will become 4. Next, what will happen? We will go back to the while loop. Correct? Current value is 0 only. Okay, it hasn't changed. So what would, again it will check the nums of 0. Now the nums of 0 is 0 only. Okay, it is 0 only, correct? So it will perform this action where it will swap itself with P0. But here P0 is 0, current value is also 0. So swapping won't make any difference. Okay, the list will remain the same because both the values are same. But the next steps, that are P0 will be incremented, current value will also be incremented. So now the P0 will become 1 and current will also become 1. Now next, again current will be checked with P2. Current value is 1, P2 is 4. Okay, so we will go inside the while loop. Now check nums of current. Nums is 1. Sorry, current is 1. So here, this is the first value, which is 0. It is 0. So this will be performed. Nums, the current value will be swapped with the P0 value. Here P0 is 1, current is also 1, so swapping won't make any difference. Nums will just remain the same. 0, 0, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, but the values will be incremented. P0 will become 2, current will also become 2. Okay, now the next step, what will happen next? Now we will check first we will check the while loop, that current is 2, P2 is 4. So we will go inside the while loop. We will check the nums of current. Here nums of current will be 2. Current is 2, so nums will be 2. Okay, the second position, second index. So what we have to do for 2, we have to swap it with P2. Correct? So here the P2 value is this 1. Correct? So what the new nums will be 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. This will be the new nums. And we also have to decrement P2. So it will become 3. Next, again it will check the while loop. 2 is less than 3. Okay. Then it will check the nums of 3. Nums of 3 is 1. If we have the value 1, nothing should be performed. Only current has to be incremented. So current will now become 3. So current will be just a second. Here we had current as 2. So here we had current as 2. Okay. Here also we have the current 2. So it will check the current 2. Current 2. Yes, this is 1 only. So nothing will be performed. Current will be incremented to 3. So again, while 3 is less than equal to 3. Okay. So it will check the nums of 3. Nums of 3 is nothing but 1. Okay, 1. Nothing will be performed, only current will be incremented to 4. Now to the next while loop, the next while will not be satisfied because 4 is greater than 3. Okay, so nothing will be performed, the loop will break and we will get the final output as nums. This will be our final output. Okay, so this was the complete implementation of this code and I hope you've understood each and every step of the code. If you have any doubt, you can ask the doubt in the comment section. Okay, we will definitely try to solve your doubt. And if you also have any other solution for this, you can put that solution in the comment section. And the time complexity for this code is ON, okay, because we only traverse once throughout the list. Okay, so the time complexity is N and the space complexity is O1. So hope you like this video. Share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you for watching.